Well, hey there, everyone. Been a while, hasn't it? Guess we should, talk about what's been happening since I've been gone. It's been a while since I put up a video, and there's been a lot of reasons for that. Not least of which being the current global situation has kept me inside, and you would think that that would help me be more productive, but it turns out that even I am susceptible to cabin fever-induced depression. I think. I should really not say that I feel depression when I can't bother going to get tested. But being candid aside, feeling a lot better recently. Maybe because I actually am going back to work and things are good. So let's talk about all the stuff that's been going on since I last made a video back in wherever I actually did that. A little behind the scenes, this is like the fourth time I've tried doing this, and every single time the manga has been in a different place since, the last time I tried to record it, but this time we've had the benefit of no new chapters in the last 2 months, so I'm actually caught up. So let's go ahead and talk about where the manga is. So the last time we talked about the manga at all, Sakura had been shrunken down to the size of a fairy, basically. And I say fairy because, she pulled out flight pretty quickly. It turns out that the shrinking was the result of Kaito, and guys just messing with her and forcing her to do things. She goes on a little micro-adventure. She encounters this weird shadow thing, which ends up being a new clear card called Shade. No explanation as to why she made this card. Again, in case you've forgotten, in the long time that we've been off the air here, Sakura has been making these cards kind of in response to things. But there's no real explanation of where Shade comes from. It just kind of pops up because we needed a monster for this chapter. So sure, she makes Shade. Then she just gets blown away into a tree, and she has a little trippy sequence where she has another dream about Shaoran and has conflicted feelings about him, and she wakes up making another new card called Break, which I feel like that card is going to come up later. It appears to be a card that can break magic or spells or something, but I kind of feel like it also is just kind of representative of her mental state a little bit, because she kind of cracked a little bit and had a little bit of a freak out. But yeah, we haven't figured out what Break does yet, and we'll come back to it in a little bit. Side note, on a lighter note, while all that is happening, Mirror is filling in for Sakura at school, and it's hilarious because you find out that obviously Mirror can only copy exterior things, so she gets to school without anything in Sakura's backpack, and it's just adorable. Mirror is probably the card with the most personality of all of the cards, and it's just great. She's just fun to watch. And this is the cloud card Mirror, not the clear card Mirror. We've never actually seen that one be used. This is the original one that, Shaoran uses to help Sakura, avoid being detected that where Sakura, she's not in school. So after the whole Break thing, we go to the next day where the Parents' Day is announced, which is fun. It sounds great. Fujitaka shows up, Sonomi shows up, Kaito also shows up. And instead of just, showing up to be a nice, supportive guardian, he shows up to screw with things. So he looks like he's going to start trouble, and then Nadeshiko shows up and asks him, "Could you not?" And then Shaoran shows up and says, "I'm going to make you not." And they're about to get into a fight. They throw some choice words at each other. Kaito alludes to some more sinister things that may or may not be validating Sakura's doubts about Shaoran. And then Sakura overcomes the time stop and gets herself involved in the battle. She makes a new card called Transfer, which at first it seems like it's a teleporting card, but basically all it does is it allows her to swap places with someone. So Shaoran goes down on the ground and she goes up in the tree. And then Kaito decides that, well, this is getting far too complicated, and just rewinds everything. But, caveat, now, Sakura and Shaoran are both at least vaguely aware that something is happening. The time still works on them, or the time magic still works on them, so they aren't aware of what happened exactly, but now, just like kind of in the anime where the time card was involved, they are at least aware that something doesn't feel right anymore. So then the last significant thing that happens is that Sakura goes over to Yukito's house, and at first it seems like, oh no, something significant is going to happen, but it was basically just a little bit of theatrics on Yukito's part, and he reveals that he and Yue have had a little chat, and Yukito has asked that Yue basically hand over control of his powers to Yukito. So now Yukito is Yue. He gets to control when he becomes Yue. He gets to control, or he gets to remember when he's Yue. And Yue, I guess, just goes to sleep. Basically, yeah, Yukito has, like, fused with Yue to some degree. It's unclear exactly how this arrangement really works, because we haven't really gotten to see it. But yeah, basically, Yukito is in charge of Yue's powers now. I honestly don't know where they're going with this. It feels like, I don't know, are they feeling like Yue is just a superfluous character now? So they just want to give Yukito something else to do? Have they been guilty that they've just, like, been writing Yukito out all this time? I don't get it. I'm really not sure what the objective is with this. We still don't know how long the series is going to go for. If we are going toward 10 issues total, then that means the end of the series could be as soon as December, but that would only leave them about 4 chapters left, and while I get the impression the series is winding down, and of course I've said that before and been wrong about it, I really don't feel like they could resolve the series in 4 chapters, so I'm pretty sure we should all be buckling in for at least going into mid-2021 to see the end of the series. Moving on to the anime news, there's still no anime news. I think I've said, maybe not in videos, but I have said in various chats and discords that I'm part of, that I originally projected that Clear Card Season 2 would be announced near the end of 2020 for a release in early 2022. However, given the global issues affecting the anime industry, you know, it's affected a bunch of shows. I don't know if it's canceled shows, but it definitely put a pause on new episodes for like 2 solid months. I'm sure production has been damaged too, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's now going to be a 2021 announcement for a 2023 release. Although we could still see a 2022 release, it'll just, instead of being early in 2022 like I originally thought, it might be mid or later 2022. But the actors have given no indication that they're working on anything. The director, Morio Asuka, hasn't said anything. Madhouse hasn't said anything. It's just mum's the word on when we will get Season 2. And for the record, I haven't given up on that we're going to get a Season 2. I am quite confident we are going to. It's just probably going to have to wait. And it might be a case this time where the manga is going to finish before the anime does. Moving on to game news, I've had to say this again 2 or 3 times now, but Happiness Memories is dead. I think the first time I recorded this, Happiness Memories had simply been announced to be shutting down, if that gives you any indication of the first time I tried to record this, sometime in like May. But Happiness Memories has been down since basically the middle of June. It officially went offline at the end of June like it was scheduled to. However, there was a bit of a fiasco at the beginning of June where there was a major, system crash, whatever. The game was down for like 4 days, maybe almost a whole week. And when it came back, there was a large loss of assets to a lot of people's accounts. The game devs kind of made up for this for the last 2 or 3 weeks of the game, they gave out, free money. Well, they gave out free in-game currency. They released all of the costumes that you could open. They made it available for everyone to kind of enjoy as much of the content as they possibly could. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they brought the game back at all with, again, only about 2 weeks of the game left. and having to recover from a major system crash, it's commendable, but I almost feel like it was a wasted effort. But I did get to have a lot of, I got to have a lot of fun with the end game, and I did record a video for that, and that part's recorded, and all I have to do is edit it. So at my current pace, we'll definitely see that by 2021. Anyway, in terms of more game news, there is a replacement for Happiness Memories coming out, and that's called Repaint Record. It's going to be a puzzle game, still on mobile, and, well, here's the blurb that goes with it. The town has lost its color, and cards Sakura ought to have captured have gone loose. They're in another world identical to our reality. Nursing all these questions, Sakura sets out to collect the cards once again. So great, we're just, like, we've hit creative bankruptcy here. The only thing they can think to do with the game is to just repeat Cardcaptor Sakura again. Which, to be honest, I've said Clear Card, at least the first half of it, was basically a repeat of Cardcaptor Sakura as well, since the focus was just going around collecting cards. But, you know, I really shouldn't be so critical when something called Card Captor is about capturing cards. I shouldn't be critical. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, I want more. Happiness Memories gave us a lot of... It didn't give us much gameplay, but it did give us a lot of, like, unique new material that fit into the canon. Repaint Record, on the other hand, is just kind of like putting it right out there of, you're just going to be Sakura capturing the cards with your phone and maybe, I guess, painting? I don't know. So, I'll be honest. I haven't watched, like, the release video for it. I probably should have. But, I'll leave a link to it down in the description so that you can look for it yourself. So now on to official Yamato projects, just relating to this channel, not other things I do in my personal time, because if I was doing that, I'd just be talking about Animal Crossing, which may or may not be another reason why I haven't been very productive. Anyway, video projects that I have to do. I mentioned before, I have the Happiness Memories video. That's shot. All I have to do is kind of glue it together and, you know, put it out. That one's not going to be hard. That's just me putzing around for the last couple hours of the game. Next thing up is a change to defending card captors. I haven't forgotten about that, but I decided after a few more episodes in that I wasn't really providing any good commentary over the videos. In fact, they were basically becoming reacts, and I hate reacts. So I've decided to change the format a little bit to focus more on pointing out the major differences between the original and the dub and card captors, which, yeah, of course, duh, they're very different. But I mean, like, I'm looking at like the major, like, substantial differences between them. And there are definitely some doozies the further in we go. I know the show's called Defending Card Captors, but spoiler alert, by about episode 10, I was starting to really have difficulty defending it. And when I finally get that episode out, you'll see why. There might also be some other video projects that I want to work on, but those are the two big ones. I just have the Happy Memo and I have Defending Card Captors. And I guess just to keep myself busy during this time, I'll probably start talking about the manga again as it comes out. I said that I didn't want to talk about the manga anymore because it's officially released. Like, you can simul read it on Comixology, and I want you guys to support the official release. But on the other hand, I suppose that maybe me talking about it would get more attention out there, so I will probably go back to talking about the chapter, although maybe in a different format. But anyway, that's what I've been up to in the last few months. It admittedly hasn't been a lot, but I've been involved in various things. Like, my job didn't stop just because I was not allowed to go to work. I still did have to work from home, and that was a major change to my routine. And I finally got something kind of worked out. So hopefully, at least for the second half of the year here, I can manage to kind of reinvigorate the channel. So thanks everyone for staying subscribed during this basically dead zone. And I will see you all in the next video.